Hey guys, it's Taylor back with Life with Taylor, and today we are going to be reading some spooky stories. So let's get into it. Also, I'm pretty sure you can hear the mop in the background. That should end in a couple of minutes or so. Also, I kind of look stupid with this headset on, but I've got a different microphone, okay? Love this one. But these are fictional, so they're kind of like creepypastas, but creepypastas, I've heard a couple, literally terrorized me. These are fictional scary stories. So we're gonna start off, and I'm also going to kind of rank these like I usually do, but on a scale of like how good they are, because I'm a reader. Okay, I'm a reader. I like reading. So, I don't know what we're ranking them off of, but we'll go 1 to 5, and I'll kind of give my little spurts of intake throughout, okay? This one's similar to the ones I normally read. This one is, am I the asshole for getting my neighbor evicted? Am I, 36 female, the asshole for getting my neighbor evicted? Recently, my neighbor, 30s, I think, male, has been incredibly hostile towards me and my husband, Tom, 39 male. We've always been fine neighbors and minded our own business as they did theirs. We hardly talked to each other, but we were always polite to one another. When we first moved here a year ago, a couple neighbors sent us nice letters welcoming us to the neighborhood. The first was from our elderly neighbor with a fairly long-winded message. In it, she included a pressed, dried flower. Honestly, I feel like that's something that I would do. She expressed well wishes in adjusting to the neighborhood, how good the school district is, how much she loved all of her many grandkids, etc. It was written on thick cardstock and came in a dusty blue envelope. The other letter was brief but seemed friendly. It was sent in a short, off-white manila envelope signed by Mark. The envelopes/letters are relevant because 3 weeks ago, my husband found a letter in our driveway, unsigned. But in the same type of white envelope handwriting, it simply read, "Stop watching me." Nothing else. Just black pen on a sheet of notebook paper. We were a little confused and freaked out. Neither of us watch him. My husband works 9 to 5 and I work 4/10s with Friday off. We both have hobbies and, to be honest, are just in our own little worlds. Neither of us really interacted with him, and we definitely didn't watch him. All we could figure out was that Tom sometimes sees him when he is out mowing the lawn. I guess I may look up every once in a while, doing dishes and seeing his house through the window, but I don't think I've ever seen him through it. Oh girl, I'd be staring through that window, because I'm nosy. I'd be like, what's Tom doing over there? Last week, he left another letter, this time longer, cursing us out and stating he was going to do something about us. My husband immediately called the police, and the neighbor apparently admitted to sending the letters when the police talked to him about it. The HOA is informed of the situation by the police on their way out. They have zero tolerance for harassments between neighbors. He apparently already had an infraction against him for heavy Mary Jane smell coming from his home. They can kick you out for that? They will be trying to evict him from the neighborhood this week. It's Friday and I should have heard something by yesterday, but I haven't. I don't know if I should call or just let it be. I didn't realize there was a possibility of him getting evicted, and now we feel somewhat responsible. We didn't really peg him to be a criminal or violent or anything like that. We think he is just having some mental issues of some kind, and we don't want to be insensitive. There's an update. I have my TV on, and I think Ghost Adventures is playing right now. No, it's not. Never mind. Some sort of paranormal show. Anyways, a lot has happened. The night after my last post, we received a call from another neighbor. We assumed as this caller was a woman. She was cursing us out, calling us freaks, animals, unstable. The more I defended us, the more angry she got. It upset Tom, and he told me to hang up on her, so I did. It was a really tense night, and neither of us got any sleep. I called the HOA member line this morning to ask about our neighbor, and apparently he hasn't been at home to service an eviction note. I was also informed that one of the houses across the way, she wouldn't tell me which, filed a complaint, and apparently a couple other members of the neighborhood had as well. She also mentioned something about investigating the issue, but was incredibly vague with me. Our neighbors seemed to be plotting against us. Well, except for Gloria, the older neighbor that sent us a welcome letter, the pretty blue one. I think she left some cookies on the porch today. Plastic wrapped on an ornate plate, oatmeal raisin. Oh my god. the writing, I mean, it's like, there's some spots where I'm like, could have been better, but like for Reddit, maybe it's just the way I'm reading it. But like, it sounds creepy. Kind and encouraging words were scrawled on thick cardstock under the plate. I assume they're from her, as no one else in the neighborhood is sweet on us right now. It's the only kind of community interaction we've had, so it made the cookies taste better than they were. Nah, I think you're being drugged. Despite her well wishes, though, we were still stuck in this situation. We reached out for legal counsel, but it seems our arrangement with the HOA doesn't leave us with a lot of room to defend ourselves. I'm at a loss of what to do. I've been looking out the windows because I'm afraid people are watching me. Tom is planning to install a security camera on the porch because he's also on edge. I'm taking off work because I'm too afraid to leave the house. Any advice or insights would be appreciated. We just don't understand what's going on. Now there's an update too, but I want to say this is feeling like Hills Have Eyes. And now the vacuum's running. Update 2. We're being evicted. We received a packet of information from the HOA this morning. It was full of formal complaints, call logs, printed emails, and finally, our eviction notice. This whole thing is nauseating to me and I can't stand to type it all out, so I'll just copy, paste bits of the email version from the HOA, leaving out some names. Dear name. We've received a number of complaints and evidence of harassment and disorderly conduct during the neighborhood from your homes at address. Due to the nature and number of the complaints, we see it fit to remove you from the HOA due to rule violations. There will be a lien on the home and you will have 6 months to sell, effective on date. You must not be living in the house or on premises by date. Attached is all the compiled info, complaints, and office call logs we have on your home from the last 90 days. The second listed date is really soon, so they seem to want us out ASAP. What? There were almost a dozen complaints in the HOA's web portal and several calls. The complaints about my husband claimed some outlandish things, that he was aggressively running up to the property line at people passing by, staring at neighbors and smiling while not responding to them. One of the call logs detailed the USPS stating they would be directing all mail and packages for our address to the main office. They're using the right to refuse service or whatever. They said a driver felt threatened while delivering to our address. I just imagine like the husband being... But like full like the anomaly, that weird anomaly guy from, what's it called? The shawarma. Another neighbor called and said that his children don't feel safe walking by our home because we are always staring at them. That transcript was really nasty and that dad had some awful things to say about Tom and I. An additional call log, noted to be the same neighbor, said they had to get their child counseling and change their bus route for school, which is obviously doubtful. Interesting. I'm just a little confused so far. Like, why are they being evicted? Like, why are all these neighbors plotting against them? The main complaint about me was from our neighbor that sent the letters. His first call complained that I watched him paint for hours from my kitchen window, making faces at him. He claimed he tried to come over and knock to see if something was wrong, and that when he walked up to our door, I had my face pressed up against the glass staring at him. He said he only called because he was worried. He called again the next week to say that I was outside his bedroom window late at night, and I know for a fact that isn't true. Apparently, sometime between the second letter we received and his pending eviction, we sent the HOA a video of us. I have no idea how he made it. Tom thinks it must be AI. The video is from his living room, pointed at our kitchen window. It shows me staring at the camera. I look dead and completely still. I scrubbed through the video, and I'm like this for hours. Eventually, at the end of the recording, I can hear my neighbor say something angrily, and then his front door slams. He presumably comes to knock at my door, but I just keep staring. I even started smiling at the camera. It's really unnerving to have someone generate you. I still have no idea how he made it. Maybe he got a shot of me doing dishes and stretched it out, then made me smile in Photoshop. Technology, I guess. Tom and I have resigned to making our way out of the neighborhood. Thankfully, we both make decent money and will recover from this. I don't understand what made the whole neighborhood turn on us, but to be honest, we don't care to know. We will be staying with Tom's parents and getting out of this place. Just a little disappointing the neighborhood didn't work out. We never even got to say goodbye to Gloria in person. This will be our last update. Okay. I'm a tad bit confused, because why were they evicted? I just feel like it's left open-ended. which maybe is how the writer wanted it to be, but like I'm just a little confused. Why did all of a sudden it shift from our neighbor is being evicted to, we're being evicted? I'm just a little confused on that. I'm gonna give this I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. I'll give it thereabouts half. I feel like some of the sentences, maybe it's just me, some of the sentences I was like stumbling over, it didn't really make sense. I don't know, I don't really like how it's open-ended. Like I kind of want like a resolution or like an idea of like what happened. Like this, I'm just like, why did this happen? It's very thorough, very detail oriented. I don't know how I feel about the AI kind of aspect of it, but yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 2.5. I'm hoping some other ones are good. I think this one is the shortest one. It was a little creepy, but Bugbear Goob Star, it was good for a Reddit story. Like they ran through this. They put it in Grammarly or ChatGPT or something to make sure that this was actually probably not ChatGPT because it doesn't sound chat written. If any of these do, I didn't read them. Next up, we have The Runner. There's a lot of short sentences, but let's see what this is. Mike Timmons checked his watch as he pulled into the trailhead parking lot, 7:02 p.m. Damn it. Normally he started his run by 4 o'clock. There was a giant truck passing by. 2 hours later, he'd be back at his car with enough daylight left to drive home comfortably. Not today. Overtime had kept him at work. By the time he'd driven to Alaquin Park, the sun was already sinking behind the trees. Mike stretched beside his car and looked down the trail. 30 kilometers. He'd run it dozens of times. The path cut through the dense forest, crossed a few creeks, and eventually reached a turnaround mark 15 kilometers in. From there, it was 15 kilometers back. Nothing to worry about. Mark started his watch and began jogging. The first few kilometers felt good. The cool fall air filled his lungs. Fallen leaves crunched under his shoes. The steady rhythm of running settled his mind. By the time he reached the halfway marker, the sun was gone. The woods were growing dark. Mike slowed to a walk and bent over, hands on his knees. He took a drink from his water bottle and looked around. That was when he noticed the silence. No birds. No insects. Nothing. Just the wind moving through the trees. A cold feeling settled into his stomach. He couldn't explain it. The sensation was simple. Someone was watching him. Mike turned slowly. The trail behind him disappeared into darkness. He stepped off the path and looked into the thick brush. Nothing. Only trees. He listened. Nothing. After a minute, he laughed at himself. 32 years old and jumping at shadows. He returned to the trail and started running. A few hundred meters later, he heard something. Crunch leaves. Behind him. Mike stopped. The sound stopped. He listened. Nothing. His heart rate climbed higher than it should have. Hello? No answer. The forest remained silent. Mike started running again. This time, faster. A minute later, he heard it again. Crunch, crunch, like matching footsteps. Not matching his pace, following it. Mike glanced over his shoulder. Darkness, trees, nothing else. He ran harder. I think Mike might die at how hard he's running. Like, what's happening? The trail twisted through the forest. Branches slapped his face. His breathing became ragged. Every few minutes, he thought he'd heard movement behind him. Never close. Never far away. Always there. At one point, he risked a look back while running. A branch caught him across the face. Pain exploded beside his eye. He stumbled, but kept moving. Blood trickled down his cheek. 10 kilometers remained. Mike no longer cared about pace. He was running for the parking lot. The darkness seemed endless. His foot landed awkwardly on a root. His ankle rolled. Pain shot up his leg. He nearly fell. For a moment, he considered stopping. Then he heard another crunch somewhere behind him. Mike pushed forward. The pain didn't matter. He ran. 8 kilometers. 7. 6. His lungs burned. His injured ankle screamed with every step. He rounded a corner too quickly and crashed into a fallen branch. The impact knocked him off balance. He hit the ground hard. His wrist folded beneath him. Pain shot through his arm. Mike swore and scrambled to his feet. He didn't look behind him. He didn't want to know. 5 kilometers. 4. 3. The darkness between the trees felt alive. Several times, he was sure he saw movement. A shape. A figure. Each time he looked directly at it, there was nothing there. 2 kilometers. The parking lot couldn't be far. Mike forced himself forward. His body felt broken. Every breath hurt. Every step hurt. And finally, He saw it. The glow of a light in the distance. The parking area. Relief flooded through him. He practically stumbled out of the tree line. The gravel lot was empty. Mike stopped, bent over, gasping for air. He turned around. Nothing emerged from the forest. No footsteps, no movement, no person, nothing. The woods stood silent. After several minutes, his breathing slowed. He laughed shakily. Maybe he'd imagined the whole thing. Maybe the darkness had gotten inside of his head. Mike limped to his car. His ankle throbbed. His wrist was tense and pain shot through his excited body every time he tried to move. His face was sticky with dried blood, but he was safe. He climbed into the driver's seat and locked the doors. For the first time in nearly 2 hours, he was relaxed. After a minute, he started the engine. The headlights came on. The beams lit the trees in front of the car. Something white hung from a low branch. Mike frowned. Mike wasn't sure it had been there before. He was sure of it. He opened the door and stepped out. Slowly, he walked towards it. A sheet of paper. It had been pinned to the branch with a hunting knife. How do you pin it to a branch? Branches are smaller. It would make more sense if it was pinned to the tree trunk. And also, why are you stabbing random trees? Mike's stomach dropped. Written across the page in dark red letters were 7 words. Almost got you. See you next time. Mike stared at the message. Then he looked toward the dark forest beyond the reach of his headlights. For a long time, he stood there listening. The woods gave him no answers. Finally, he pulled the knife from the tree, got back in his car, and drove away. The entire trip home, he kept checking his rearview mirror. That one, it was a good story. I really imagined it. I really saw it in my mind. The only thing that I don't like about this is the pacing. The pacing is really, it seems like consistent. There's a lot of short sentences, and I guess it was supposed to be like rapid, like really like fast and very like, if you're reading it in your head, obviously I can't read that fast because I can barely speak words. But in my head, I'd be like reading it really fast, and if you're reading really fast and you're envisioning this scene, your heart rate starts going, your breathing is kind of labored because you're kind of there. You're reading it, and it makes you feel like you're there with the character. I think reading it out loud, I was like, this took me way longer than it probably should have. So reading it out loud, I don't like the pacing. But I feel like, I don't know, just like all the short sentences. Maybe it's because I'm used to reading literally like paragraphs and paragraphs. But that's the only thing. I am going to give this a 3 out of 5. I think it was good. Let's see who wrote this. George Gorge, 1977. The Runner. Like, it literally sounds like a book title. I like it. I would honestly read this if the pacing was a little better, but there's only one comment on this. There weren't any on the last one. It says 7 words, lol, but great story. Had me thinking I was Mike. Keep 'em coming. The OP replied, oh dang, thank you for finding that. So I wonder if during the message part he had put I almost got you instead of almost got you. Anyways, I like that one. It was a little bit better than the last one because I could understand it. I really had the setting kind of in my mind. I could really see it. It was definitely creepy, definitely ominous. I wonder if adding a bit more elements other than like sounds while he was running back, maybe like he saw a shadow or something dart by him while he was running, or I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a person. It sounds like it, like a person coming after him, or maybe like adding in like a faint outline of somebody in the trees while he was looking around. I don't know. I feel like this does have potential though. I think this one is gonna be the last one. Maybe we can do a 4th one, but this one I'm excited about because this one says, don't go off trail in the Appalachians. I know what's waiting for you. And I kind of skimmed it, and it sounds like a mix of the first one and the second one, with the longer paragraphs from the first one, but the kind of more haunted, foresty nature elements. So I'm really excited for this one. Let me just drink some water because I sound like I smoked a 10-pack. Please hold. Alright, I think I'm good. Also, I can hear the washing machine, and if you can, no you can't, because I was not filming this at night when everybody was sleeping in the darkness with no lights. So, last May, search and rescue teams in the Appalachian National Forest found a shattered smartphone lodged in a narrow rock crevice 100 feet below a deep cliff. The device was protected by a heavy-duty OtterBox case, which kept the internal memory intact despite the fall. I wonder if that's like, I've had a couple OtterBoxes, actually literally maybe only one, but if they're that sturdy, y'all need to start putting OtterBoxes on your phones, because I see some of you with just like no screen protector, no back case, or a back case but no screen protector. You're living life on the wild side. Also, I think this is fictional as well. Here's what the device recorded in its final hours, and these are the words left by its owner before he vanished completely. My battery is at 15% now. I don't know if anyone will ever hear this, but I have to leave my testimony. My name is Mark, the neighbor guy from the first story, and I thought a hiking trip in the Appalachians would just be a routine getaway to escape the grind of life in Philadelphia. Mark has not heard of any of the Appalachian stories. On the third day, I decided to go off trail. We are doomed for dead. Looking for total isolation, but I realize now that I made a fatal mistake. I went so deep in the woods that I lost all cell service, and that's when I started noticing things a regular tourist wouldn't. The trees aren't normal here. They're so thick they block out the sun, and the forest floor smells like something is buried beneath it. Kind of side note tangent. I used to hike when I was little with my family, and Sedona is beautiful. But I think we were hiking and it was kind of hot, and my dad picked the trail, because usually we do the same ones. We were lost. We got fucking lost. We got lost. And we were like trying to get the maps up to try and get back, because we were like at the top and we were like couldn't figure out a way back down or something. I don't know, but I just remember being scared that I was never gonna make it out. That reminded me, because it's terrifying. With people, I can't even imagine it by yourself. I saw strange symbols carved into the oak trunks with a knife, fresh wounds still oozing resin like markers to claim territory or warning. I stopped to catch my breath, and when I looked back, I felt like I was being watched. It wasn't just a feeling. I heard a twig snap, followed by the sound of heavy, labored breathing. It didn't sound like any wild animal. It was distinct, ragged, human breathing. Gray clouds gathered over the peaks, and the fog started creeping in like a snake, blanketing everything in a pale, ghostly gray. I tried to make it back to the main trail I'd left hours ago, but I noticed the carved symbols were repeating with an eerie consistency, as if they were guiding me somewhere or warning me that I was already inside someone's hunting ground. My heart started pounding with every step. In this place, sound travels for miles, and every step I took felt like announcing my position. I pulled out my paper map to check my bearing, but I was shocked to find that the area I was in clearly wasn't marked. It was a blank spot forgotten by the world. Then I saw it on the horizon, over one of the ridges, a faint trail of smoke, rising slowly. It looked like a campsite, but I knew I was in a restricted area where camping was prohibited for security reasons. Every instinct was screaming at me to run the other way. But exhaustion had taken its toll, and the fog was so thick I'd completely lost my sense of direction. I realized now that these mountains aren't just rocks and trees, they're one giant trap. And I may have walked myself into a place no one ever comes back from. Bro was saying all of this. Now that I'm realizing it, the exposition I'm assuming this is kind of like the rising action. The transition between that, it had said, this is what am I saying? Oh, these were his final words. So is he still talking? Here's what the device recorded in its final hours. Bro was recording for hours. He's vlogging. I approached the smoke cautiously, hoping to find a woodsman or someone seeking shelter, but what I saw was a waking nightmare. There was an old, dilapidated trailer covered in black plastic tarps, surrounded by a fence of barbed wire that looked like it was meant to keep something in, not keep people out. There were no animals, no birds chirping, just a terrifying silence over the place like a graveyard. I crept closer, and I saw something that froze the blood in my veins. Worn-out shoes, open backpacks, scattered clothes that looked like they belonged to different people, all of them human trophies. I realized then that this wasn't a camp. It was a graveyard for the missing hikers that I'd read about in the news. Oh my god. Wait. Holy shit. This is literally like a combination. Suddenly I heard the sound of a metal lock clicking inside the trailer. I froze behind a massive oak trunk and grabbed my phone. No service as usual in this terrain. A man stepped out of the trailer. He wasn't carrying a gun. He was carrying a woodsman's axe, and his face was covered by a filthy rag. He started scanning the ground, sniffing the air like a hunting dog picking up a scent. He moved with an unnatural agility for a man his age, gliding over roots and rocks without making a sound. I saw him stop at the exact spot I'd been standing minutes before. He looked down. He looked straight towards my tree. It wasn't a coincidence. He'd been tracking me since I entered the area. He started walking towards me, slowly, dragging the axe along the tree trunks like he was marking his prey. I couldn't breathe. My mind was screaming at me to run, but my feet felt rooted in the mud. I realized this man lives here, kills here, and hides his victims in this eternal fog, and the law is hundreds of miles away beyond these peaks. He was smiling under his mask, a smile I saw in his cold, unblinking eyes, as if he'd been waiting for a new visitor for a long time. My phone battery's blinking red now, 8%. I'm not recording this to call for help. I know no one will get here in time. What? This is crazy. I'm recording this so everyone knows these woods aren't safe, and there are human monsters living among us, far from the city lights. I saw how he touched that axe, how he sniffed the air. This man doesn't extinguish for money or theft. He extinguishes because this place has given him the power to toy with other people's lives. I can hear him now, talking to himself in gibberish like he's performing some old ritual before the final hunt begins. I can't stay here. I started running with everything I had, not looking back. Tree branches scratched my face, and the sharp mountain rocks tore through my boots. The sound of his footsteps behind me never stopped. Steady, rhythmic, and consistent, like he never gets tired. I entered a steep, rocky slope where the fog was hugging the ground. Suddenly, the sound of his footsteps vanished. I'm kind of getting like he's like a mountain lion, and you're in his terrain, and you're in his environment, and he has this place mapped out, and wherever you go, he's gonna find you. And I don't know, that's it. It's like you're going up a steep hill, he's gonna run up that steep hill, you know? I stopped to listen, thinking I'd lost him, but then I heard a voice coming from above, from behind the rocks I'd just climbed. He was humming an old folk tune, his voice echoing through the mountains like a terrifying chorus. He wasn't chasing me, he was herding me towards a well-known cliff in these mountains, an area that ends in a sheer drop to certain death. I tried to change the course, but I found myself trapped against a vertical rock wall. I was pinned between him and certain death. I don't like how there's certain death used twice. He emerged from the fog, calm, wiping his axe, and looked at me like I was just a minor hurdle in his day. He didn't say a word. He raised the axe, and I backed up until my heel touched the edge of the cliff. I looked down, pitch black, no bottom in sight. I looked at him and saw my own fear reflected in his eyes. I realized these mountains choose their victims. He pushed me, not with his hands, but with his overwhelming presence and a sudden move. My phone slipped out of my pocket and into a rock crevice while I was trying to cling to the cliff, but I can't get it back. But I'll leave it here. Maybe someone will find it someday. He's closing in. There's no way out. I'm going to jump before he touches me. At least I'll choose how I die. If you're hearing this, stay away from the unmarked trails in the Appalachians. They're watching from between the trees. They're waiting for their next visitor. The battery's dying. Goodbye. Okay, I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 5. And just because I don't like how certain death was used twice. But also for some reason I just could not track where... Like, I couldn't envision where this character was at the end of the story. He wasn't chasing me, he was running me toward one. I mean, I guess I kind of, but I was trying to envision it, but it, I don't know. Could have just been me and how I envision things, but no comments. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 5. I really liked that one. Very, very thorough, very detailed, the writing is, I really like the writing. So... Quiet-Vanilla-5414. You get the highest score. And I think this is a great note to end this video off. Comment down below your thoughts on this. I kind of wanted to do this for a little longer, but my stomach is sounding like a lion and my voice is sounding like a smoker. So we're gonna start off with 3. I can continue doing these. I find it fun. I like reading scary stories, but I like reading fictional, you know? That way we know, it's fake. We don't have to decipher if it's real or not. But, yeah. What are your thoughts on these stories? What would you rank them? And yeah, should I keep doing this? This is something y'all will watch. And, while you're down there commenting, click all the buttons. You know what to do. And I hope you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world viewing this. And peace.